you chilling in cortisol? Have you got cortisol, lots of cortisol in your system? This is going to be a bit of a dive into why and how it can affect your weight loss, and then how you can put in some remedies to not always be in the fight or flight mode. So you're not always in that panic state, running around. So firstly, we're going to start with what is cortisol. So cortisol is one of the adrenal hormones that is in the body. It's what makes you wake up in the morning. So cortisol, you have it in natural amounts throughout the day, in normal amounts. So when you wake up in the morning, the cortisol will spike. That will spike your blood sugar slightly, and then that will wake you up in the morning. And that's what happens, and it slowly sort of drifts down throughout the day. If you back in when we lived in the cave, back in those days when we were hunting and gathering, we were chasing animals, and we had to use that adrenal system. We had to have a lot of adrenaline and cortisol to push us, to get us through and get the food, hunt the animals that we had to. However, we still live, so any sort of threat, so if we had to go after the animal, that would cause the fight or flight response. If we were chased by an animal, if we were in a tribe and we had to gather and we went down to hunt an animal, to spy on it and stuff, and then there was another animal behind us, we would have to really run fast and get out of there, and that would obviously cause our adrenal hormones to spike, such as cortisol, adrenaline, and there's other hormones, and they will spike, and then that will get us going, and we'd run as fast as we can and use our body. It allows us to unlock a body and use it to its full potential in that moment. However, there used to be physical threats to our safety. However, now there are a lot of psychological threats to our safety, such as money. Am I going to be able to afford to pay the mortgage and the bills? Am I going to be able to pay all this and the essentials, get the food on the table? So these are psychological threats to our safety, and this activates the same response in our head. Therefore, we live in the sort of fight or flight mode constantly throughout the day. So your adrenal hormones are always elevated up really high, and that is not how we are designed. So the main way we are living now is we're on the computer, shoulders round, hunched round, and we are in that adrenal response. When you're in that adrenal response, you're supposed to be running anyway. I mean, you're supposed to be like moving your body really fast. That's what it's doing. It's diverting the muscles, the blood away from the stomach and to the muscles, so that you can really go for it and run as fast as you can towards the hills. But we're sitting there and we're not doing that. We're not using our body. Also, this adrenal response, this heightened adrenal response, is only supposed to last for short amounts of time, so 5 or 10 minutes. However, we are living in that mode constantly throughout the day, and that is very troublesome. That, causes a lot of issues. So what happens is, because the cortisol is higher, the body will store fat more efficiently. This happens usually around the abdominal, and also what cortisol will do, it will contribute to the breakdown of muscle, especially the back of the legs and the glutes, and then it will get the muscle from there. It will break that down into glucose to use as energy, but then it will preserve the fat. And you might notice that you're the same size, apart from that happening. So you might even be the same weight, or you might even lose weight. However, you might notice that your trousers fit differently. So the back of the legs are gone a bit baggier there, around the glutes, it's gone more baggy. And then around the stomach, your back might be a little bit tighter, and that's because the body is storing more fat around there, because the belly fat is quite important, because your body thinks you are it's gone into survival mode, because you're always adrenally run. then the body will store fat because it's easier to access for it as well. And that's what happens. So that's when the hormones start to get out of balance. I know that it can lower testosterone, because of the stress response on the body, and you're constantly in that mode. You're not supposed to be, in 5 to 10 minutes at a time, a few times a day, but not living constantly in it. And you're not living really in the high, how do I put it? The really high, stressed out way necessarily. You don't have to be like you've been scared by a tiger sort of level throughout the day, but you can be in a low sort of fight or flight response, so a lowered version of that. So you're still panicked, but not quite too high, and you still got that adrenal response going, and that can break down your hormones such as testosterone. I know it turns progesterone into progesterone steel, so that's breaking down your progesterone, and it can break down your estrogen as well, estradiol and all that. So it can mess up your hormones and your body composition. So how do you get out of that fight or flight mode? How do you get out of that? The way to get out of the adrenal response is to have times where you can do some deep breathing. That can help, or meditation, but for the short term. So it's a great way. It's really great. You can calm down in the moment. But during the long term, you want to try and get to the core issues that are causing these stress responses in you. So meditation can work. It can be, it can calm you down. It can really chill you out, but you're not getting to the root cause. And that might work in that moment, and it might work for some people, but you want to get to the root cause of the issue. What's actually causing the stress, and how do we deal with that so it doesn't have that effect throughout the day. So get to the root cause of your feelings. That's what I'll do. So how you can do that is make a list, cost-benefit analysis, the negatives, or even writing down your thoughts. So a simple way, if you don't know what your thoughts are, negative thoughts, you don't feel, I don't have any negative thoughts. What you can do is write down a paper, draw a stick man, put a speech bubble there, a few of them, or lines, draw some lines, and write down negative thoughts that this person has. This person is like you and does the same job and has the same stresses as you and has children and that. And then you need to write down what are the potential stresses of that person, what negative thoughts do they have. So write down the negative thoughts of this person, and then you can write them all down, and then it will most likely be similar to yours, and then work out what a solution to these could be, or what these negative thoughts could represent. What's it show that's really great about the person, because it's quite paradoxical. You can find out what's great about you from your negative thoughts. And I know people don't mention a lot of that in psychology. It's like, not so, a lot of it is sort of, do some running, do some deep breathing, do some distract yourself, watch some funny videos. But if you really want to get to the root cause, you have to write down what's really good about these negative thoughts. So one example could be, is that, I'm worried about paying the bills. I'm really worried, and I want to have a higher paying job, and I'm stressed out about not getting the higher paying job. What could this show that's beautiful about me and my belief system behind that? And then once you figure that out, that can really help sort of show it to you, and you don't necessarily need to change it. You just need to turn it down a notch. You need to turn down that intensity of that emotion, like a dial on a microwave. You turn it down, and you don't get rid of the negative emotion because it's benefiting you. It's actually benefiting you. It shows that you're conscientious and you want to have a better life for your kids, and you want to have food on the table and provide the best that you can for them. So it's not something you want to get rid of. So you want to get to the root cause and not just put a band-aid over it, in my opinion. This is what I've learned from Dr. David Burns. He's really interesting. Very, very interesting stuff. Anyway, so that's where credit is due. So you don't want to live in that fight or flight response. So what you can do is structure your day. You could get up 20 minutes earlier to have your time in the morning and to write, journal. That can help a lot of people as well, and just to do some deep breathing maybe, as well as figuring out the writing a list of negative thoughts, or looking at the positives of them. And then just have scheduled time. So for your busy tasks, what you can do before you write, you need to write down in the evening. So you're coming from work, you need to write down in the evening. The science has showed in recent times that doing like multitasking before doing a task that you need to concentrate on can be really effective. So if you're like, oh, I've got to go and do this, go and wash up, and then I need to go and cook, and then I need to write down these sides, I need to go and walk the dog. If you do all those multitaskings before, after you get straight from work, do all that, pick up the kids or whatever you need to do, and then later on, then you can go on your laptop and concentrate on your work. And doing those busy tasks before will put you in that state when you get back to really concentrate. So doing multitasking before doing a main task can be a great way. So that's been shown recently. So there's a lot of ways. Obviously, meal prep, you can do it on a Sunday night, and then you can, or you could do the method where you cook the night before, you have your dinner, and then there's another portion for your lunch the next day, and you just keep that pattern. That can work for some people as well. And also blocking out time. So maybe you could do 25 minutes on the task, 5 minutes break, and then another 25 minutes. It's got a certain name, but it's a really effective technique. Also blocking out, so you could do that multitasking within an hour and a half, or however long. You work out how long it takes you, do it a few times, find out how long, do it in an hour and a half, if you find out it works in that time, and then you can get on for your focused work after. So that can be a really effective technique. So it's always just do all the multitasking at once, get it in a time block, then do the focus task. So that will be it for this video. It's going to be long. And if you've got any question, comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me what you think. Do you disagree with this, or do you agree? What's your opinion on this? I need to know, because it's interesting, and I need to learn different perspectives as well. Thank you for watching, and I'm out. Psh.